Hello everybody and welcome back to my Let's Play Spellforce 3 episode 73. Let's get it on, alright? Here goes.
Nice. Anyone else?
Tahar, may I help you with something?
What's fascinating about Shapers?
What exactly is it that fascinates you about the
Why is it
Shapers?
to you?
Oh, Tahar, that's quite a topic. I don't mind sharing, but are you sure you want to go there?
I am, tell me.
I am.
Go, go for it.
Tell me.
Alright. Well, where do I start? You see, the Shapers have always fascinated me. They're all over Io. These remnants of a once so glorious civilization. Yet for some reason, so many people are almost oblivious to it. On the one hand, of course, that's very sad. On the other hand, it also makes it a lot more exciting. It's like I'm a treasure hunter, only that everyone else fails to see the treasures around us. Tell me, Tahar, when seeing all of this, don't you sometimes feel like you're exploring a childhood dream? The kind of world the poets and the bards always spoke of?
Actually, I hope you do. Sometimes, yes.
Sometimes, yes. It's dark, but also fascinating.
Absolutely. But this childish fascination was only the spark. The more I studied the Shapers, the more enthralled I became with their culture. Did you know that at the pinnacle of their existence, they ruled over all of Io? A global empire with no one to oppose them.
You seem to consider that a good thing.
Oh, good, bad, the world doesn't work like that. Of course, there are writings that hint at the fact that the Shaper Empire wasn't all rainbows and unicorns, but still it was stable. And it persisted for tens of thousands of years. Can you imagine? All this knowledge, all this art, all this wisdom. Nothing in the Io of today can match that. Nothing. It's like comparing a sea full of secrets with a puddle of muddy water.
You know all this. Didn't the Shapers use slaves? How did their empire come to be?
How do you know all this?
Some of it from writings, some of it's just connecting the dots. I know how many scholars are out there at the universities giving their talks about the inscrutable empire, but it's not nearly as inscrutable as they say. Their problem is they're trying to understand the Shapers by reading books and dusty tablets. That's not how it works. You need to get out there, into the field. And even if it takes years of fruitless digging, eventually you're bound to stumble onto something. Another piece of the mosaic.
Very poetic.
Because it is.
Shapers use slaves?
My father always told me the Shaper Empire relied a lot on slaves.
What? No, that's rubbish. The Shapers had castes, yes, and it's probably the lower castes your father was referring to. But to call these slaves is like calling, say, a tanner who was born outside a royal family a slave, just because he'll never be a king. And even the very lowest caste, the Zalanyur, always had enough to eat, a roof over their heads, and could, without paying a single coin, get themselves healed by a cleric if they needed to. So if you think that's unjust, go ahead. Ask an Everlight beggar which era he'd rather live in. He's not a slave, yes, but in some ways he's worse off.
Empire come to be.
And how exactly did their empire come to be? They must have conquered quite a few nations.
They had the liberty of being the first living civilization on our Io, at least as far as we know. That made it easier to maintain peace and stability. Until the end and the dragons.
Yeah, they died out.
And yet,
Probably the
they
dragons
died
themselves.
out.
Yeah. Great mystery.
Most scholars think it was the dragons.
They do, but I doubt it. You saw what the Shapers were capable of. Even a race as powerful as the dragons couldn't have wiped them out. And you see the shape the city is in, Tahar. There's no traces of fire and destruction. But regardless of what it was, it doesn't change the
It's this
fact that the
particular
way the
city,
current
other ones
races
don't.
of this world treat the Shapers is nothing short of pathetic. They were greater than we'll ever be. But instead of studying this greatness, we ignore them. And why? Just because it doesn't fit into our religion, our traditions, or whatever reason they can come up with. Because to many, admitting what a marvel the Shapers truly were would mean admitting that our culture is pale in comparison.
Okay. Not really that bad.
Is our world really that bad?
That depends on your expectations. We could do worse, certainly, but if this is as good as we can get, then I have nothing to feel but pity.
Oh, Justine, I agree we could learn from the Shapers.
Maybe you're right. There's a lot we could learn from the Shapers.
There is. In any case, I suppose you found your answer, haven't you? This is what fascinates me about the Shapers. They're a reminder of what we could be, if only we wanted to.
I see. Well, thanks for the explanation, Iskrim. I appreciate it.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye. Will do.
Okay, nice. Nice. Okay, okay, okay.
Got it.
This ground with further armor improvement discard. Dwarf plate armor. Discarded. Okay. Okay, I said this is a bit over this episode now, but I kind of just want to check a couple more things out before we end. I was happy just to touch the roll before, but I'm kind of a bit worried I've messed up a little bit by activating that part. Come on, load, 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 load. So I can't activate this yet. What's she doing? Let me save as a new file anyway. I've not saved for a long time. And of course my 21 with section at 1 stone opened is before I activated that chat with them, so 22. So I can always go back to that. Chat with her, then we'll leave and try and see if we can go for allies still. If it lets me go for allies, then reload before we leave. Next episode, I think. Come on, you. Where are you? So yeah, I need to raise money to improve my armors, and that it seems.
Corporal? Need anything?
Tell me a bit about your time on the road. What was it like?
Is that a command, Corporal?
Please?
Please?
Alright, but I'm afraid there isn't so much to tell. Have you ever been on the road by yourself?
A long time ago, yes.
Well, then you know how wearisome it can get. Sleeping under the stars sounds romantic at first, until you realize that most of the time it's sleeping in the mud, in drizzle. Most of the time, your stomach and your purse are empty, and your feet are full of blisters. And, of course, there's the constant danger. Especially if you're traveling on your own.
Do you ever have a companion?
Did you ever have a companion?
Some, yeah, but most of it was just temporary. Though there was one I traveled with for longer. Quentin.
How did you meet?
Coincidence. A small town between Finn and Mir and Lar. We played dice together and he cheated. When I called him out on it, he tried to turn tail. But one of the other guests stopped him for me. They wanted to go give him a beating, but I told them to stop. He gave me back my money and we started talking. And, believe it or not, we found that we got along quite well.
Yeah.
So you started traveling together? With a thief?
I wouldn't call him that. He was just young and careless. We ended up traveling for almost a year.
What's your relationship?
I see. What was your relationship?
Boyfriend, girlfriend?
You mean... no, we were just friends.
Oh, okay.
He was way too young for my liking, and I think I was too old for him. We were more like sister and brother.
Okay. What's his story?
What was his story? Where was he headed?
Into the blue, same as me. He had quite an interesting task, but I wouldn't feel comfortable sharing it with you, to be honest. He wouldn't want that.
Okay.
Huh. So, how did you
his
split
task?
up? What happened?
Maybe?
Nothing dramatic. We came by a village and decided to rest there for a while. The roads had become quite dangerous due to the mage wars, and we didn't want to go out unprepared. I did some healing for the villagers, and he helped out the local smith. He liked it, and the smith wanted him as an apprentice,
Oh, they stayed.
so he stayed.
Oh, okay.
I was surprised and a bit hurt at first, but then I realized it was probably for the better. I still think of him sometimes, though.
Okay. How did you make a living?
Huh. And how did you make a living?
That was the easiest part. I healed people.
With light magic?
Yes and no. It was my magic that mended the wounds, but since mages are often met with suspicion, how shall I say, got a little creative.
So pretending
Frankly
to heal
put,
them.
whenever I treated someone, I gave them a magical potion to drink, which was just water mixed with some harmless herb to give it color. The rest was laying on hands to help the potion's effect, which was pure light magic and how I did the actual healing.
And that worked?
Better than you'd think. People were fighting over my panacea as if I was Ellen incarnate, while cursing the evil defilers who had caused this war. Ironic, isn't it?
Do you miss it sometimes? The vagabond life?
Well, we're still vagabonds somehow, aren't we? But I know what you mean. And yeah, I sometimes do. The wind on my skin, the vastness of the wildlands, and the fact that all you have to think about is the mile ahead of you. It's another world. There was this one night I'll never forget. I'd made a camp at a clearing, set up campfire, and I was leaning against a tree, slowly drifting toward sleep. Then, all of a sudden, it started to rain. Not just the usual drizzle, it was bucketing down, drowning everything, the earth, the noise, the plants around me. My first impulse was to jump up, to find shelter, get my things into the dry. But I didn't. Instead, I saw. I don't know how else to put it. All of a sudden, there was this deep sense of peace, as if all my life I had been chasing something without knowing it myself. And in that moment had found it. So I just watched. I sat there and I watched. That feeling lasted until the sun came up. And then I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was gone.
It's beautiful.
That sounds beautiful.
And a bit dramatic. But yeah, it was beautiful. I've never felt something like that again.
And what do you make of it now?
Truth be told, I don't know. But it changed something. Even though I cannot say what it is.
Goodbye.
Okay. You know what? This is almost done double the episode. You know, I'm probably going to just cut this 10 minutes earlier and make this a new episode at this point. So this is actually now episode 73, I believe. Because I was going to just go a couple minutes over, but I'm like, I'm almost 3 minutes, I've done another 15 minutes here, so... So you know what, this is episode 73 now. And that gives me an extra episode just in case the build is still here, so... Okay, that gives me time in the last minute or two to test what I want to test. Make sure I don't have to go back. I had the wrong spot. No, I don't think it was. I'm hoping I can still look for allies, so long as you know have location of other things. I don't have to go for them right now. Because I'm assuming that when I start, I'll be able to pick the orcs and everything if I have them. At the moment, I don't have humans. And I should be able to do that. So when I come out, I'll save. And I'll click that, and we'll see. I'm still not trying to take that thing on, so let me save. Copy it. Game 23. Cap it. Copy it. Game 23. There we go. Okay, so now let's see. Let's do go for the elves, like what's my choices now? That's what I want to know what my choices are. So we'll go for elves and orcs before I carry on with everything. Space. Okay, so if I file and hold, under deer, foot bard, or Everlight. So that must mean there's stuff to do there. Great Keep. I kind of wish the quest would be on the side now so I could see it. Kind of wish it would move faster too. Oh, use the mouse might move faster. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm thinking that's for the goblin. Oh, it tells me nice one. Perfect side quest. Proud struggle. Shadow of the mountains lies the wasteland. To his foot large. God home to the August tribe. Put it all on that. Yeah, from the undead demon. Firewall church. Their homeland. According to August culture only. Once they conflict danger. Oh, okay. So maybe that's just for the orcs. What's this one? Secret of Shapings, Bones and Sand. Secret of Shapings of Bones and Prolonged Sun. It's a main quest. So yeah, let's do side quest thing first. Was there any others I missed? Oh, unless that colour me side quests. Aha. So if it's blue, it's a side quest. If it's not, it's a main. But one of the mains is actually finding allies. Isn't it? But I don't remember, so I'm going to do this side quest first. House struggle. Oh, we can take 4.
They will burn.
Okay, so I can only ever carry 4 with me, but it means I'll probably get more heroes later, so I'll travel. And just have a quick look at the quest log. And then we'll end this episode here. Remember, this is 73
In
now.
the shadow of the eponymous mountain lies the wasteland referred to as the Foot of Bargagor. It is home to the Orcish tribe called the Firewielders, as well as to many unforgiving beasts, from the undead to demons. While most travelers stay away from Bargagor for this very reason, the Firewielders cherish their homeland's perils.
Yeah, I was talking with them earlier, wasn't I?
According to Orcish culture, only through constant conflict and danger can a people stay strong and persevere.
All right, here we are. The Foot of Bargagor.
And you still think this is a good idea?
I don't think we have a choice. We need all the allies we can find.
Oh, okay, this is allies. Good, good, good. That's what I wanted. Okay, so I'll have a quick look at this before we start anything. Power struggle, Tortogara. Power struggle. So this must be for them. So hopefully I can do the same with the elves too then. So we haven't lost anything, that's good. So it's a good point to save and end this episode then. So please like, please subscribe, please tune in next week, and fingers crossed the build is gone and I have an episode for you. Appropriate game 24. I said 4, not 25, whatever. 24. So after you subscribe, please hit the little bell and see you next week, fingers crossed. If not, there's still plenty more on my channel to watch, so go watch a lot of my other series that you haven't watched before. And put some likes, subscribe to them, of course, if you haven't subscribed already to my channel, and of course hit the little bell to get notified, and share my videos. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.